Hey everybody, this is Rev J with Rev J Rides. I am turning on one of the most famous roads in all of the United States. It's called Natchez Trace. It's a famous motorcycle road. It is often named among America's greatest motorcycle roads. Natchez Trace Parkway is that way. This is a park. This is Meriwether-Lewis Park, National Park, I believe. I'm going to take you up in it. I did this one other time, but this was back when I was not real good at videography at all. You may say, well, you're still not, and that could be true. I'm not saying I'm great, but I'm better at it now than I was back then. I do have a little bit of experience now. Anyways, so here we're coming up into this park, and apparently there was a log cabin like that back years ago. I think that's been reconstructed. I don't think that was the original. But there was a woman who lived on this property where Meriwether-Lewis stayed one time. This is Pioneer Cemetery. Literally, there are people buried right there. There's stones, grave markers out there. If I took a walk out there, you'd see them. But apparently somewhere on this property, a very similar log cabin stood as that one right there, where Meriwether-Lewis had come through and decided he was going to stay here overnight in one of his times of travel. He was well known. People throughout the United States knew him. There's a monument where you can read and learn about all of his travels and what he did. Very, very influential person in history. We really owe him, Lewis and Clark, not just Meriwether-Lewis, but Lewis and Clark. We owe a great deal of gratitude to, because our United States would not be what it is without their explorations. Through there is the old trace. Animals and Indians and everything would go through there. There's a new trace now that's actually paved, obviously, but that's the old trace. You can come to this little spot right here, and it's like a museum inside. You can get some artifacts and some information. Grinder House, site of ruins of Grinder House. So this is where Meriwether-Lewis stayed, very close to here. But he did not, from what I understand, he did not stay in the cabin. You know, they didn't think it was appropriate for a man to stay inside of a woman's cabin. And so just to be on the up and up, he spent the night outside. But even though he was a great hero, he is a great hero and was a great hero. He is a great hero in history, and he should have been a great hero to our nation at the time. There were people that didn't like what he was doing. And so apparently he was killed here on this property. This is the site of where he died. Just so you'll know that. But we're going to get out here on the trace and take a look at this. And I'm going to try to stop and show you what this is from Highway 20 near Summertown, Tennessee. And I'm going northeast when I make this left. And I will stop along the way to just kind of show you what kind of sights there are around here. Let me tell you about this great motorcycle road. It's a nice, winding road through the countryside. Hills and valleys and trees and beautiful Tennessee landscape, natural Tennessee landscape. It is a very nice road if you want a laid-back motorcycle ride. I will admit to you that since the speed limit is 50 miles an hour and the curves are not very intense at all. Don't ride this road here thinking, oh, it's a great motorcycle road. We're gonna have a thrill a minute. That's not the type of road this is. This road is specifically to look at the beauty of nature and take it in. There's a lot of wildlife out here. Of course, if you come, say, at dusk or dawn or somewhere in between, you might find a thrill or two in the way of some critters coming across the road that may interrupt your travels. Yes, there are deer out here. You don't want to hit a deer on a motorcycle. You don't really want to hit a groundhog on a motorcycle. So, you know, I would advise coming during the daylight where you can make sure you see these things and avoid them, and see them and enjoy nature itself. But we're going to continue to ride, and I thank you for joining me. This is Natchez Trace Park.
Sure is pretty out here. Got a lot of pretty stuff to look at, even though it's summertime already. Of course, it's early summertime. It's a lot like springtime right now as far as the greenery is concerned. We've had a lot of rain this year, so it's probably greener this time of the year than it is most years. Not only is it pretty out here, but there's a lot of history out here. You know, there are people who would prefer us to forget history or rewrite history. But I think that's foolish. I don't know if you know this, but the Bible actually teaches us that we are to remember. Remember. Now, when it's talking about remember and the history that it's talking about, it's not just that things happened, it's why they happened. It's that God did something. One such place is found in 1 Chronicles chapter 16 as part of David's prayer of thanks or psalm of thanks. He said in that little section, remember the wonders he has done, meaning God. Remember the wonders God has done, his miracles and the judgments he pronounced. Please remember to hit like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. God bless.